the crazy thing with Dak Prescott is he was quarterback 3 on the season this year. Fantasy Calc, as you can see in the graphic below, has him at quarterback 13. John's Tiers that you could get through the Dynasty Theory Patreon, if you're interested, has him between quarterback 8 and quarterback 11. I'm in complete agreement there. There's absolutely zero reason for him to be a lot lower than Anthony Richardson or even Caleb Williams coming in, we'll get into a little bit later. But with Dak Prescott, what we know through this year is they're going to be a pass happy offense. They're just going to have to be. Tony Pollard is a free agent. Can he come back? Sure. Can they bring someone else in? Sure. Rico Dowdle, same thing. He's a free agent running back. And the big thing to know is the Dallas Cowboys are already over the cap by $20 million. And we all know the cap is fake money. They could do whatever they want to bring someone in. But one thing just to be cognizant of when teams are over the cap, yes, Dallas could go out and get a T. Higgins. They could go out and get Saquon. But that will be their one big free agent acquisition. They can't go out and get T. Higgins and Saquon. It's just not in the realm, and their offensive line needs help. So more than likely, we might see a player added, but no one big. More than likely, it's going to be Tony Pollard coming back, right? And what we saw this last season from Dak is CeeDee Lamb is amazing. He's, whether you have him wide receiver 2 in Dynasty or wide receiver 4 in Dynasty, it doesn't really matter. We just know he's that good now, right? Yeah. Jake Ferguson had a great year, had 70 catches, 700 yards. That's great. But then Dak was doing this with Brandon Cooks as the wide receiver 2. Michael Gallup was the wide receiver 3, right? He's doing this with players. He doesn't have an offense like Joe Burrow does to where he has Chase and Higgins and Tyler Boyd and Joe Mixon. He was doing it with an absolutely great wide receiver in CeeDee Lamb, a pretty good tight end in Jake Ferguson, and Tony Pollard, who we all thought was going to be a great running back coming into the year, but just ends up being pretty average, right? And so just looking back at the 2023 season, 36 touchdowns, the best scoring offense in the NFL, right? And there's really no reason why the Cowboys can't be that moving forward. The defense took a step back. By all intents and purposes, we should probably expect that defense is going to be a little bit better next year. Just for whatever reason, they were great the previous year. This past year just didn't really do it. The Diggs injury probably hurt out quite a bit. But with Dak, what you want to look at is that's a huge difference going from quarterback 8 to quarterback 13. You're talking about a really big value right now, and he's 30 years old. So what you want to look for is you're going to look for a rebuilding team in Dynasty. You're going to look for a really like someone coming in and taking over an orphan that has Dak. A lot of these managers are going to look at it and be like, look, I want to get off Dak. He's getting older. How am I going to do it? I would recommend not even offering a 2024 first round pick if you don't have to. I would add Addison and a 25 first. I would go JSN and a 25 first. I would go Zay Flowers and a 25 first. That's at least going to get you in the ballpark, right? Let's see if they come back. Maybe they come back and say, look, we want your 2024 109 plus JSN. I'll make that trade every day of the week because more than likely you already have 2 quarterbacks on your roster. You know, in July and August, you're going to be able to move off those guys, but now you have Dak. And Dak's value is just going to kind of hang out in that quarterback 13, 14, 15 range. It's not going to be good. But one thing I do always try to remember with veterans is I like to look at the best ball values and how best ball people are attacking quarterbacks. And a big thing to know with the Dak and CeeDee, that is going to be one of the biggest stacks that's talked about nonstop with redrafters and best buy guys all off season. The reason for that is because it's one of the best stacks in the NFL. So just knowing that the redraft guys are saying like, hey, Dak's going to do really good. Everyone assumes Dak's going to do really good. Then we know we're going to want him in Dynasty, right? The guy is 30 years old. There is zero reason to not go and get him. He's not going to go anywhere. They're going to get him on a new contract. The cap space will fix itself. It happens. It's an ebb and flow thing, right? They will bring in somebody to help. They might go after rookies. Who knows? But as it stands today, Dak Prescott is the biggest buy right now in Dynasty because he offers you the quarterback 1 upside, and you don't even have to pay quarterback 10 prices for it. It's absolutely ridiculous. Let me know in the comments if you agree or not. Hit me up on Twitter at DinoMC. If not, join us in the Discord. We can talk about this more.